त्रिलोकिनीं भगवतीं मन्दस्मितश्रीमुखीं वात्सल्यामृतवर्षिणीं सुमधुरं सङ्कीर्तनालापिनीं श्यामाङ्गीं मधुसिक्तसूक्तिम् अमृतानन्दात्मिकाम् ईश्वरी शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये या देवी स्तूयते नित्यं विबुधैर्वेदपारगे सा मे वसतु जिह्वाग्रे ब्रह्मरूपा सरस्वती गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः.
Om Namah Shivaya. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Amma, Mata Amritananda Puri. My humble pranams to Puja Swami Amritagitananda Puri. It is my blessing to introduce Puja Swami Vijayamritananda Puri. Swamiji is a part of our ashram for the past several decades. Currently, he is managing the branches of the ashram in Kolkata and Delhi. Today, Swamiji is giving an introduction on the topic of the importance of Guru in our lives. It is our good fortune to hear from you, Swamiji. Thank you.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Dhyayamothavilavagundhanavati Tejomayim Naishtiki Snigdhapangavilokinim Bhagavati Mandasmidashrimukhi Vatsalyamritavarshini Sumadhuram Sankirtanalapini Shyamangim Madhusiktasuktim Amritanandatmikam Ishwari. My humble salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Amma, and my salutations to all young brothers and sisters. Once a young guy went to a palmist. After reading his palm, the palmist said, "You are going to get profuse wealth in the coming 2 months' time." The youngster's happiness had no bounds. He returned so happily and enthusiastically. But his happiness didn't last for long. He returned after 2 months to the palmist. This time the young guy is very sad and very angry with this palmist. He in fact shouted at the palmist saying that, "You told me that I'm going to be rich in 2 months' time. But no wealth came to me, nothing came to me. Instead, I lost money." Then the palmist said, "It's not my mistake. I told you what is there in your palm. See, you are such a liar, that even your palm is not telling the truth. What can I do? It's a joke, but there is some truth in it. The mind is such a powerful instrument that it can influence everything and anything, including the body, including your body. Even the lines on your palm get altered. So, potentiality of the mind is profound and unfathomable. It can take you to heights, it can even pull you down. It's a very delicate instrument. Therefore, most of the time we fail to manage this complex instrument and we get into trouble. In fact, we are under the sway of the tricky mind and we oscillate. We oscillate between sorrow, happiness, love, hatred, etc., all varying emotions. So it's a huge, delicate equipment, the mind, which is equivalent to all the complex machines on the planet put together. So if you are a computer engineer, you might have sought service, might have taken service from a number of expert professors. If that is the case, with learning a single machine that is the computer, think about learning and managing the most complex equipment on the planet, that is the mind. It definitely requires the most expert teacher. Managing the mind for self-unfoldment is called spirituality. The technique of bringing out your full potential to go beyond the limitations of the body, mind, and intellect. That is spirituality. Here comes the significance of a guru. People might think we are in a world of modern technology. We can learn anything online. But this is not true all the time. How many of you have learned the alphabets by yourself or by online? I mean, your mother tongue. It is with much difficulty that your parents and teachers taught you to read and write the alphabets. If this is the case with the very preliminary stage of knowledge, what to say about the most advanced area of learning, that is spirituality? It is really foolish to think that one can learn the most delicate and most subtle branch of knowledge without a master, without a guru. Absolutely not possible. So a living master is indispensable. In fact, without a master, there is no spirituality at all. Hundreds of people tried to climb up the Everest and lost their life because they didn't have a map or an expert guidance. We remember just one Hillary and Tenzing, but there were hundreds who lost their way and even lost their life because they didn't have any guidance or a proper map. So therefore, in every field, expert guidance is a must, especially in the field of spirituality. I would like to invite your attention to one more significant point in this regard. The people who debate on whether a guru is needed or not, they don't debate on whether a teacher is needed for medical education or for learning engineering or even learning swimming, because it is obvious that it is not possible without a proper master. It is similar to the discussion on whether God exists or not. You hear so many discussion, debate, and orations to establish the non-existence of God. Why such a debate? If you are very sure that there is no God, if there is no God, there is no God, that's it. There is no need of more discussion, there is no need of debate, no oration, no need of writing books on it. That's it. If God is not there, God is not. That's it. We don't debate on whether a rabbit has a horn or not. No debate, no discussion. Why? Because we don't have any doubt. It's obvious, it's very clear. It's known to everyone. So if somebody is so passionate, if you people are so passionate to establish the non-existence of God, that means they are not very sure of what they are saying. Second, they have some agenda or some ill motive behind it. So they want to brainwash and they want to establish some false, ill-motivated idea in the society. So same is the case with the question whether we need a guru or not. Therefore, I just want to caution the younger generation to be immune to such detrimental arguments. Don't come under the sway of such polluted minds. Apply your faculty of discernment and think rightly. A spiritual master can go deep within you and bring out the best out of you. Guru is the most adorable, most compassionate. Guru is the best friend you can find. And Guru is the best role model you can find. And Amma herself is the living testimony to this. So, praying to Amma that her grace be always upon you. And thank you so much. And I'm so happy to address the younger generation. And thank you so much. Now, the Ayudhian speaker today is Divya from Kolkata. And over to Divya. Thank you. Namaskar.
Om Nam Shivaya. Our next speaker is Divya Nair Saha. Divya Chechi met Amma as a kid in 1986 and she was blessed to live in the ashram from 1993 to 1997. In the documentary on the life of Amma, River of Love, Divya Chechi played the role of teenage Amma. Divya Chechi did her graduation in pharmacy, followed by PG diploma in hospital management and MSc in clinical research. Divya Chechi worked in AIMS Hospital in early 2000s, followed by a stint in Sun Pharma. Currently, Chechi is living in Kolkata. Thanks a lot, Divya Chechi, for taking the time out to share your experiences of living in the ashram and how the learnings from the ashram has helped you in Grihastha Ashrama.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Yayamodavalabakundanavadhim Tejomayim Naishtigim Snigdhapangaviloginim Bhagavadim Mandasmida Srimughim Valsalyamritavarshinim Sumaduram Sankirtanalavinim Shyamangim Madhusiktasuktim Amritanandatmikam Ishwarim Om Amriteshwari Namaha. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our divine Amma, who's my guru, who's my mother, who's my friend, who's everything to me. My sincere pranams to all the Swamijis and Swami Ammas and to all the brothers and sisters in the ashram and around the world. Thank you, Untitled Swamiji, for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words about a subject which is very close to my heart. Today's topic of discussion is advantages of Grihastha through Brahmacharya Ashramam. This process of life in stages is the backbone of Sanatana Dharma, as it prepares you to have courage and the mental strength to go through the challenges of life with a sense of righteousness ingrained with the principle of spirituality, step by step. What is Brahmacharya Ashram? It's like a modern day hostel life, but in an ashram. In hostel, we learn to have self-discipline, we learn to live alone, detached from the family, we learn caring and sharing, we also acquire new survival skills. It basically shapes you into an all-rounder. The benefit of that hostel when it is an ashram is that we are also taught the core value of spirituality. And especially when it is under a Sadguru like Amma's guidance, it is 1,000 times better because Amma teaches you through her actions. I was indeed blessed to have this life in Amma's ashram before getting into the worldly life, which actually helped me immensely to control my emotions, handle the life situations with a calmness, analytical and detached way. Hope all our Amma's children who are listening today are doing well with Amma's grace. Today we are almost at the finishing line of 2022. 2 more months to go for 2023. I can proudly say, as Amma's children, we have dealt with this devastating pandemic and the after effects of it much more gracefully and had a better edge in handling the tougher situations over others just because we had this huge mental support system. That's our dear Amma, who stood like a rock behind us all this while. I'm not saying others didn't do well, but honestly speaking, having a Sadguru who's a loving mother is one of the biggest blessings you can ever have in your life. Amma is a Sadguru who comes down to our level, to each one of us, to teach to our kindergarten mind, so that we can sail through this life effortlessly. Saying this, I remember something Untitled Swamiji had said in a scripture class way back in 1995. I remember this not because of my great memory, but because I kept all those notes which are so valuable and read it once in a while when I feel low. There are 2 types of Guru, Markada Sampradayam and Macharya Sampradayam. Okay, Markada Sampradayam. Here it goes something like this. A baby monkey hang on to its mother monkey tightly when she jumps from one tree to the other. In Macharya Sampradayam, the kitten can go anywhere, but the mother cat will find him or her and bring back to the real place. Swamiji had said, we are all so lucky to have our Amma like this mother cat. Thank you so much, Amma, for being this mother cat and bringing me back to my senses every time my mind got distracted. Because this is what has happened to me. I've many a times in these 43 years of life lost my way, but Amma had always affectionately and patiently brought me back to her. I met our dear Amma when I was 7-year-old in 1986. From then on, ashram became our second home. Every month, me and my family used to visit ashram, which was situated in Kollam, from Palakkad, where we were living at that point of life. All the small holidays, all the big summer vacations used to be in ashram. Practically, I grew up in ashram. Those days, ashram was not what it is today. There was no buildings other than that small one-room gallery and a few huts where Amma and Swamijis used to stay. No proper place to stay. Coconut trees everywhere. Food was a big scarcity. In fact, it's a stark opposite to what ashram is today. But I remember that was the most happiest place for me. I actually come from an affluent family who had practically everything I wished for in our home. Best schooling, loving parents and grandparents, holidays with the whole family in different parts of the country. In fact, had a very happy, sweet life. Then Amma entered my life. perspective of everything changed for me. Definition of happiness changed. I cannot say it was like an overnight revolution of life or something, because I was just a happy 7-year-old kid. But what Amma did was slowly changed me inside, imbibed all the spiritual values in me harmoniously. I didn't realize the magnitude of that change till I entered the real life. This is what Amma does to all of us. She does miracle inside our heart. In fact, when I look back, this was maybe my first teaching from Amma to me. The real happiness doesn't come from any objects or any personal achievements or how much dollar you have in your bank account. But instead, it comes from how much we are able to do for others' happiness. Being selfless. Tyage nege amritatva manashugo. This is our Amma's motto. You have all seen that in our emblem. Which means only through sacrifice of yourself can one attain the ultimate happiness. Amma's teaching has always been on the ground. She will be the first person to get on the floor. You all would have experienced this. So automatically we follow. She is the embodiment of action speaks louder than words. Me and my mom joined Ashram as residents in 1993. At that time, my brother was studying in Amma's Kudingalur boarding school and my dad was working in Karnataka forest as assistant conservator. Those years, Ashram was getting built up and we were extremely fortunate to be a part of this Mahaseva. You can see in that picture that green dress, that's me. As a kid, I was hyperactive and never listened to anyone. Because of this nature, my family had a tough time handling me. Since I would never listen to anyone and I was never scared of anyone, there was a high chance of me going to a negative path if not guided properly. But with Amma entering my life changed 360 degrees. Interestingly, I never had a problem listening to her. Just being with her made me learn everything without me realizing that I am being molded to my best version, and that too guided by the best hands. Through all these sevas, Amma, what did she do? She channelized my hyperactive energy in the right way, and that too joyfully. This was my start of Brahmacharya Ashram life, practical life of spirituality. This Guru Shishya Sampradayam teaches you the essence of spirituality on first-hand basis, as you are with your Guru 24/7. Not technically, but more or less we were also with Amma more than 16 hours. Amma teaches you with her action and not words. So what you learn from the experience of actions stays with you forever. Far better than just reading the scriptures. Maybe this is the reason in Sanatana Dharma it was a norm to do Brahmacharya Ashram before entering the worldly life. If you look into our scriptures, avatarams like Sri Rama and Sri Krishna also had in their life gone through the Brahmacharya Ashram before leaving for their respective dharma, which they were meant to do. The real ashram life starts when Amma starts the process of crushing your ego by asking you to do those sevas which you may totally hate or sometimes you don't know at all. You will be irritated, you will be sad, you will be scared to the core. But this is Amma's Leela, bringing out all the negative emotions outside and then turning it into positive outcome. The first step of every good learning is the unlearning of what you think you know. As Amma always says, become a zero, which is actually very tough, as our ego plays very hard to accept this fact. What I have understood from a small experience in ashram is the only requirement to be a good disciple is total surrender to your guru and constant learning attitude. Throughout my 5 years of ashram life, before leaving for Bangalore for my further education of degree in pharmacy, Amma taught me all spiritual values through this tough love. In fact, making me practice every single day so that these values stays with me forever. Those days, we never realized how many hours we were doing seva, or whether we were hungry or not. Nothing mattered. We were so engrossed with Amma that whatever she was doing, we also did together. It was Amma who always remembered when we had our last meal and make sure to stop the work for the meals. In fact, as you can see in these pictures, she used to feed us, sitting with us, carefully making sure that each one of us has taken the meal. It was not only sevas. Amma also encouraged us to learn so many other art forms, music, dance. There were scripture classes every day. There was classes for Sanskrit. In fact, this Sanskrit classes actually helped me in my later life when I married a Bengali to learn the language of Bengal because it was easy. Sanskrit was the mother language of every language of India. Later on, I contemplated about this. With all those sevas in ashram, what did Amma teach me? Amma actually taught me the value-based work ethics, how to work in a group, sharing the responsibilities, how to think about others before yourself, the kindness and compassion. Because of which, later in my professional life, I could never treat any work as silly or not worthy. Every single job had value and dignity for me. I could easily work with the same attitude with my senior most manager as I could with the clerk of my office if he needed a helping hand. Living in ashram with Amma is out of the world experience. We learn to co-live with so many different cultured people, and this is the best way to learn sharing. It's pure joy always. I put a picture of Amma playing with us in the swing. That day, Amma was actually not well at all. Even then, Amma sat with each and every one of us to make us happy. This is Amma, full of love. I also learned the real core values of feminism from Amma. Amma says, woman, in other words, feminine qualities, has far better understanding, empathy to others, patience, kindness, humility, and they are the best balances. So she asked, why do you want to leave your best qualities and become like a man? According to Amma, without leaving these good feminine qualities, we should actually inculcate the good masculine qualities, which are assertiveness, leadership, confidence. In the same way, Amma also makes her male devotees build up the feminine qualities of more empathy, kindness, and humility. And in turn, these qualities help them to balance their life. We all have both qualities inside. If Amma says, awaken your qualities and be the best version of yourself. Don't be somebody else. I recall a small incident with Amma regarding this subject. As I told you before, that was the time when ashram buildings were getting constructed. The sand and the bricks for the construction comes from the mainland, and they used to be dropped in front of this side of the backwaters, that is near the Amrita Setu bridge, which is situated now. It was our duty to bring sand from that side to the main building site. We all sisters together used to shovel the sand into the handcart and pull that to the main hall. Amma always was there throughout the sevas, and many devotees of that time also took part in the sevas. Amma used to shovel the sand to the sacks, and the devotees and all of us who are not pulling the cart used to carry the sacks. Maybe many of you would have seen this in Amma's early life videos. I was doing seva with Amma. To be honest, I'm like a honeybee who's always around Amma whenever she is outside the room. My job was holding the sacks, and Amma used to shovel the sand. That time the handcart came, and Amma started shoveling the sand into it. Once it was full, Chichi started pulling the handcart. And suddenly it lost the balance and started bending to one side and was about to tumble down. Everyone was stuck for a second. And then we see Amma trying her best to balance the cart. So we all jumped in, and with joint effort of everyone present there, we could finally pull and straighten the cart. Once the cart was gone, a devotee lady asked Amma, Amma, why don't you ask Brahmacharis to do the cart pulling? It's very hard for the Brahmachari to do this work. You know what Amma said? Mole, why are you differentiating between them? There is no difference in work. Everyone should do everything possible together to reach the final goal. See here, it was just a simple sentence, but how meaningful and true. She made us understand that gender is not a factor when work is concerned, and it is the attitude to the work which matters. Amma also didn't glorify that females are doing tough work. Amma just simply nullified the whole gender biased work system that has been forever in our society. This is Amma. There is no empty words in Amma's dictionary. Amma acts every day on what she believes. We just have to closely observe her and learn from every moment with Amma. This again was an important life lesson which I carried forward into my work life. It helped me to work in a male-dominated marketing field of Sun Pharma, one of the biggest pharmaceutical company of India, as an only female member at that time in the entire division. Because of Amma's lessons, I could work like any other normal guy used to work and never asked for any extra privileges, since Amma had already taught me not to take credit for something you can do which may be predominantly done by another gender. Also, not to discredit someone when they can't do something, whichever gender they may be. And because of all this, I was very well received and respected and treated like one among them by all my colleagues. In ashram those days, we had strict rule to follow. Even now in the ashram it's the same. But those days I remember, we had to submit our daily diary to Amma every Saturday. I've put a screenshot of my diary. As you can see in the screen, we had to mention everything like, did you go for Archana? Did you go for scripture class? How much time did you meditate? Sleep time, study time, attended the bhajans or not, work time, other spiritual sadhana if you have done. Look into it clearly, you can also see there is a column for gossip time. And this we had to submit to Amma. So you can imagine how scared we were. It's Amma, we can't lie. I still look into my diary now and have a smile thinking that my gossip time on the first day was 2.5 hours and the last day it shortened to 15 minutes. What did Amma achieve making us do this? I think creating awareness, creating self-analysis, understanding the importance of time and investing it in properly. This may seem very insignificant, but it made me value the time of others and mine equally. Also, I built a habit of self-analysis. The way Amma says, Manananjayi Makkale, Manananjayi. I started doing this every day where I realize my mistakes of that day and try to change or maybe at least not to repeat it. And till date, because of that guilt conscious of wasting time in gossip was so deep inside me, I avoid all needless chit chat or unnecessary kitty parties, which is like a norm in the society where I live in. Now, when I look back, this disciplined life has also helped me in becoming a pillar of strength to my husband in his business. As in the business world, if you are not self-motivated and self-disciplined, the business will crash down in no time. We have closely seen that in many of our known business families here. As you are not under anybody, you are your own boss. So key to success here is self-discipline. And when things go wrong, you have to have self-motivation. These qualities I learned in ashram life. Amma also increased my concentration to multiple folds. I'll narrate you how. Every Thursday and Sunday used to be Bhavadarshan day. It starts at 7 p.m. and most of the time it goes beyond 2 to 3 a.m. We kids used to do a lot of running around, and as we were full of energy, one day Amma called me, Chitra and Shailaja and said, Makale, I'm scared that your girls keep running here and there. So many unknown people come. So it's very dangerous. You three should come and sit in front of me and should not get up till the Baba Darshan ends. That time it was in Kali temple. We were so happy Amma personally called us and asked us to sit near her. We three started sitting in front of Amma the whole time, just focusing on Amma. If we doze off, Amma threw candies at us. In order not to sleep, we used to sing the bhajans in full volume. We just used to take 5-minute break for the restroom. But as the days went on, it was a tough feat to sit for 5 to 6 hours continuously. But since Amma gave so much attention, we didn't feel the pain. This is exactly what Amma is doing now with all the kids in the ashram. If you're watching every day the bhajans and satsang with Amma, you can observe this. Amma checks into each kid, in which reality that it's helping them to concentrate completely on Amma. Because we love Amma and we want attention from Amma. This is a technique called single point concentration, which enables to veer away all the other distraction. It may seem so simple, but it's a tough mental challenge exercise, which Amma does so smoothly. Now let me tell you how I discovered this helped me. When I was in Sun Pharma, we used to have new product launch meet. Our senior product manager used to come and explain everything about the product, writing in the board. And it kinds of take 2 to 3 hours at one stretch. It was my first product launch meet in Chennai. Since I was new and an only girl in that division, I was sitting in the front row. Once my manager finished his explanation, he casually asked me, Divya, what did you learn? I just got up and started saying each and every sentence exactly the way he said, not even leaving the comma or the explanation. Because I was concentrating in single direction the whole time. Once I finished, the whole room was in a pin drop silent mode. Everyone started applauding and a sir came and told me, this is great Zavya, you have a great concentration. You should come to the main office in Bombay and be a part of the product development department. And from now on, every product launch meet, you should be there and take over the presentation from me. I was so happy for all the recognition and I was over the moon. To be honest, I patted my back and said, wow, Divya, you are simply great. Reaching back home, I was jubilant and said to my mom, see ma, what an achievement your daughter received in front of all her colleagues and also got an excellent job offer. My mom appreciated and then coolly said, all those times when you were sitting in the first row of Amma's Devi Baba, concentrating only on Amma, this is what Amma was teaching you. Full concentration. Because of which you have achieved this recognition. Mom also sarcastically reminded me that she clearly remembered that some days I was very angry with Amma that she is not allowing me to sleep more or have fun outside. But still, out of love for Amma and also scared of Amma, I did what Amma asked. That's when I realized how Amma prepared me to excel in my life just by obeying her words and following it religiously. When I see today how Amma is doing the same thing to all the ashram resident kids, making them go through the rigorous training of learning the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, making them practice it, sitting for the bhajan for so many hours, teaching them by pointing out exactly personally when they make the mistake in Tabla. These are all Amma is just helping them to become the best version of themselves. And Amma does it so easily and with so much love, it just becomes the part of your genes. I was married in 2008. In the ashram, with Amma's blessing to Saptarshi, who's a Bengali. We stay in a joint family. It's 15th year running. After marriage, there was a lot of adjustment which I had to go through. Other than food and language, the most important was the way of life. I was married to a business family which had entirely different lifestyle, which was very hard for me in the beginning. Because of our huge cultural difference, there was often many conflicts between me and the family. My husband and his family never knew Amma before our marriage. But slowly and steadily, I could bring them to our dear Amma's path exactly like in those days Amma had brought me to her. Today they all love and respect Amma and truly follows her. Sometimes I feel Saptarshi is a better disciple or child of Amma than me. Whenever there was ups and downs, maybe that in his business obstacles or our personal problems, especially when we decided not to have kids. After a lot of my health problems, in spite of having backlashes from his family as he is the only son, he still stood by me and always said there will be a reason for whatever Amma does, and Amma is constantly with us and guiding us and supporting us. Though he never had physical experiences of ashram life, he says hearing constant stories of Amma and ashram from me brought a change inside him and he grew close to Amma mentally. Amma can bring a change in anyone easily. We just have to tune into her. I think he used to listen to every Amma stories patiently and with full concentration. Maybe that's why he could tune into Amma. This reminds me of the day when I spoke to Amma first about Saptarshi. My only concern was that he and his family don't know Amma. Amma said, "Don't worry, Molly, I'm getting more children through you." And actually that is exactly what happened. He loves Amma and Amma loves him. Whenever he goes for darshan, I've always seen that love in Amma's eyes. I would like to narrate an incident with Amma which happened in my ashram days, which helped me navigate through my difficult situation and bring peace in our joint family life peacefully. Those days, Amma could come anytime to main kitchen for inspection, and Amma hates any kind of wastage that you all know. She even checks the sinks and the drains, and if she finds one grain of rice, we get good scoldings from her. This is Amma's way of teaching us to be attentive and careful and not to waste anything. Whatever we are doing, even if it is just washing the rice before cooking. Nothing can escape Amma's eyes. On one such day, Amma had come and was inspecting, and there was some coconut lying on the floor to be grated. The Chichi who was supposed to do it had not completed because of some miscommunication with the store manager Shamala Chichi at that time. Amma started inquiring about the issue. I was standing very close to Amma, and someone from the backside prompted me that it was Shamala Chichi's fault of not giving it on time and not Sangeeta Chichi's fault with not doing it. As always, in order to grab the attention of Amma, as well as I had a little grudge on Shamala Chichi, as she was always rude, I said to Amma, "Amma, it is Shamala Chichi's fault." Amma just looked at me furiously and it pierced through me. Then she asked, "Did you personally see? Why and who are you to interfere when Amma is speaking to elders?" Then Amma said, "Say sorry to Shamala Chichi. She is an elderly lady and you are a kid." This was in front of everyone. My ego was hurting so much. This was the first time Amma was scolding me. I was feeling ashamed. My tears were rolling out constantly, and I just couldn't bring myself to say sorry. I just stood like a log. And by that time, it was found out that indeed it was Shamala Chichi's fault. So I felt a little satisfied inside and spoke to myself, "See, I was right." But Amma came back and said again to me, "If you don't say sorry to Shamala Chichi, I'll never talk to you." All my ego vanished. I went running to Shamala Chichi to say sorry, because more than my ego, I loved Amma and cannot imagine even for a minute that Amma not talking to me. Once Amma's inspection was over and Amma was going back, I was walking with Amma, but very sad and silent. Amma saw this and said, Divya, believe everyone. At the same time, do not believe anyone. And always say sorry to elders, even if they are wrong. Gurutvam means you will have their blessings. It was also Amma saying to me silently that just because you have grudge on someone, you shouldn't blame them for something which you have not personally seen through your eyes. Now let me say how this helped me in my married life in a joint family. At our home in Calcutta, we have few house helps who manages the cooking and to be with grandmother 24 hours because she's around 90 years now. Once in a while, big fight happens between these house helps and grandmother, and at times grandma uses abusive words to them. This hurts me badly. Though I try to stop the fight, but it gets escalated when I get involved. And after the nasty fight with grandmother, both of us don't speak for a while. But within 10 to 15 minutes, I get very uneasy. Instant, I go back to her room and say sorry for fighting. And it's my fault. Instantly, everything changes in the house. The mood becomes normal and happy because she becomes happy as I'm satisfying her ego of being right. But in turn, I think I'm keeping the peace at home. Most of the time, I even say sorry to househelp sisters also for granny's behavior or after scolding them for something. Gradually, I started feeling a sense of happiness after all this. This happens automatically and naturally in me because I learned it directly from Amma. If I had not learned that lesson on that day, specific day, I could never imagine me saying sorry to anyone with my big ego. I have realized one thing. We don't achieve anything finding whose fault it is. The best way to achieve peace is to bow down to elders. That doesn't mean you will not stand up for what is right. Amma always taught us to stand up for people who don't have voice. So I fight like a tiger when I see injustice. As my husband jokingly says, my fight with him or other members of the family is always regarding others, not for myself. I stand up for them. At the same time, as Amma taught me, I need to say sorry to elders. I do that too. Our 15 years of married life, me and Saptarshi could sail through successfully in spite of having some serious health issues, wealth issues, psychological issues. We could rise and build again everything only because of unconditional faith in Amma, abundant grace of her, and the strength she gave me inside. And all those values I learned from Amma in those 5 years of my ashram life. Today, what I see in society is a trend to only love yourself. You should love yourself, but you should also know when and where to sacrifice for others. Do selfless deeds which will bring a different kind of happiness. I remember when I was getting married, Amma told me in my ears, look after the family. I understood what Amma wanted me to do. I've always believed that Amma knows the best for all of us and guide in the best possible way. Even though I was working in my dream job in the field of clinical research, at that time I left my job as it was not possible to have both together. And mainly Amma's words were ringing in my ears. Amma says specifics to each person what they have to do in their life to reach the ultimate goal of spirituality. And it varies for every single individual. It was a very tough decision for a girl who had been working all her life outside home till then to be inside home handling home, which is totally a new thing for me. So it was again unlearning of what I knew and learning entirely something new. Much more tougher when you are staying with so many people and in a different new culture. Though I do contribute in our business by handling some departments as it's a family business, it actually in turn helps me concentrate on my home front more. Amma has always said there is no work which is smaller than the other. I slowly started understanding and believing whether you're working outside or inside a home, the most important factor is what is the purpose of it at the end of the day. Peace and happiness of yourself and the people around you. It was Amma's direct practical teachings in my ashram life which helped me manage patiently and handle myself without breaking down and always be a fighter. Screaming or hurting others and craving for self-recognition are not the actual fight. The real fight are those people, the real fighters are those people who fight for the happiness of others. Be a real fighter in life. Each one of us has a different path to follow. Just surrender to Amma and she will guide us to your path. Instead of breaking the homes, building it with love and sacrifice, at the same time being self-sufficient and not dependent on anyone, especially mentally. As Amma's children, this will be the best message we can give to the world about Amma's teachings. I think how we lead our life can become a mirror and influence others to believe in Amma and her teachings. Action speaks louder than words. Amma is most happy when we walk in her path. This is like a small return gift to Amma. Hope we all, as Amma's children, can follow Amma's lessons and make this world a better place to live in. What is the core value of spirituality? I feel it is Nishkama Karma or selfless seva and Mananam, self-analysis. Once you start this as an automatic process, you will see change in yourself every single day. Realizing nothing in the world is permanent and only Amma and her love is the ultimate happiness, it will be much easier to cruise this ship of life. There is a verse in chapter 9 in Bhagavad Gita. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Prityakshavagam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Worldly knowledge doesn't bring any change in our soul. Only the ultimate learning of experiencing the essence of spirituality can bring a change inside us. And that can lead to everlasting happiness, which is the path of liberation. Scripture says, understand the utility of worldly knowledge, but also understand the limitations of it. Brahmacharya Ashram teaches this Raja Vidya in tender age itself. This learning helps a lot when one is in the real world. When we truly know ultimate happiness is not in the worldly pleasures, we tend to have a detachment inside and is less affected by the ups and downs. I'm not saying we don't get affected at all or we won't be able to enjoy the pleasures of life. But there is always a sense of detachment and all Amma's children are learning this on everyday basis, which helps them not to break down easily in any dire situation. Finally, let me share some pictures with my dear Amma and me, which are unforgettable memories for me, and conclude my humble words by sharing just one more significant part of my life, travel, which is crucial in helping me balance my life today. My husband is a rally driver and an avid traveler. He loves to drive non-stop to mountains and mostly our journey starts at midnight because of his work schedule. Sometimes we have drove 24 hours non-stop, even 36 hours once, coming from Bhutan straight to Calcutta. I'm able to go with him in all these travels easily and enjoy the journey is just because of all the hardcore month-long Indian travels I did with Amma when I was young. Thank you, Amma, for shaping me in every possible way so that I can lead a value-based life. Thank you once again, Swamiji, for giving me this opportunity and in fact, which allowed me to go back to those beautiful and best days of my life. Through this, once again, Amma, like the mother cat, has brought me back to her. Love you, Amma. Please bless me always to be your daughter first and walk in the path of life the way you have taught me, courageously, positively, and holding the values of spirituality. Om Shivaya.
The whole world, the entire universe is a wonder for Mother because it's God's beauty. So the entire world is God's creation and we should fall in love with that. Everything was a worship. Her entire life was a worship, was a prayer.